Spring football coverage continues here on Ball State All Access and BallStateSports.com. We talk offense today with the Cardinals OC, Joey Lynch. Happy spring. Finally feels like it.
Yeah, absolutely. The weather finally broke for us a little bit, and it's been a good spring so far.
Describe a good spring. What are you looking for?
Yeah, as an offense, we got a lot of experience back. Last year we had some guys that played, but not played a whole lot of football. Well, coming off last season, we had a lot of guys that played a lot of snaps. So we wanted to see constant improvement, and we kind of hit the ground running this spring. And there's no question we were getting better as the year went on last year. So when we came out early in spring, we wanted to see that development that we thought we had late in the year to continue in the fall or this spring, and it has so far.
What do you do that's different than maybe in the fall? You're not preparing for games. You practice for the sake of practice. Does it allow you to do things as far as installation, as far as trying things, as far as tinkering that you're not able to do otherwise?
Yeah, as a coach, oftentimes this is your most favorite time of the year, and you don't have a game on Saturday, so it's all about your team and development of your young guys, and so we spend a lot of time on fundamentals and techniques, and scheme is something that we look at a little bit, but we're not game planning. We're just trying to get our base offense in and find ways to execute. But there's no question with the experience we've had back, we've been able to install at a faster rate and got more offense in at this point than we did last year, and I think as a result we're having some success.
Remember a couple of years ago, Jordan Williams busts onto the scene, has that great game against Illinois State, and everybody's saying, where did this kid come from? And the first reaction was always, well, he had a great spring. Who has put themselves maybe in position to open some eyes with the spring they've had so far?
Yeah, Darian Green's a guy that has big playability, and I don't know if that will surprise anyone, because when he touched the ball last year, he made a lot of plays for us, but didn't get the snaps at tailback because of Juwan Edwards, but he's a guy that has made a lot of plays with the balls in his hands this spring, so we're looking for him to do that. As a group at wideout, we think we have really good depth. We've got guys that play a lot of football, and even Jordan Hogue and Corey Lacanary played some last year as young guys, as true freshmen, but they got some experience, and then you combine that with Jordan Williams and Kevon Mabon and Chris Schillings, and you're talking about 5 guys that have played a lot of football, and they're all making plays and all playing to their ability this spring. So it's an exciting time, I think, for our skill guys.
Other two backs, Teddy looks like a new man. He's added another of himself in weight. And then James Gilbert comes in and is in for spring and kind of gets his toes wet. What have you learned from those guys, especially having to step up and fill 2 sets of really big shoes this fall?
Well, no question. You said, Teddy's had a great offseason. You kind of alluded to, guys having success in the fall, and you look at their spring practice. Well, Teddy the same way. He's playing really consistent and playing really good right now, and the added weight has been huge for him. I mean, he's a bigger physical runner. He's really good in pass protection. He's always been a very smart football player. That hasn't changed, but now with the added weight, he's stout, and he's a guy that we think can get us tough yards and make some plays in space. But pass protection this spring has been really, really important for us, and he's definitely done that for us. And then a guy like James Gilbert, he's had to digest a lot really fast, but he's doing a great job. He's a great kid. He wants to be really good. He's still learning, but the one thing we found out early in spring, with the ball in his hands, he's pretty natural, and he's a powerful runner for a guy that's only about 190 pounds. That he kind of runs with an attitude, and we've been excited to see what we saw so far.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the guys in this room. How have that trio come along, and obviously Jack and Oz with the experience they got last year? And you even said at the football banquet, David Morrison was Offensive Scout Team Player of the Year, and you said, here's a guy who came to camp, or actually came in the spring last year, fully expecting to be the Ball State quarterback. I imagine that's not something that goes away. So how has he continued to kind of grow and push the 2 guys in front of him?
Yeah, he's done a nice job. He's a very smart quarterback. He understands our scheme. He understands football, and that's his strength right now, is the mental aspect. He did a good job in the off season, getting some weight on his body and helping the physical tools come along. But he's had a solid spring, and he needs to keep progressing. But I really think Jack and Ozzie both have improved in a positive way, and they've kind of taken that next step, and that's what we expected. They both ended up starting 6 games, I believe, and so they got that experience. And this off season, it's always nice watching yourself on film, and I mean that, to see what you did well, see what you didn't do so well, what do you need to fix. And I think they both had a good off season from a film room study standpoint, and I think you've seen that this spring. But they're making the plays that are there, and that's their job. Is we got enough playmakers that they just got to get the ball to them in space in a timely and accurate manner, and let your playmakers make plays for you.
All right, Joe, have a good rest of the spring.
Thank you.
Joey Lynch joining us here, the Cardinals offensive coordinator. It is continuing coverage of Ball State football on Ball State All Access.